Shalom. This week we are reading Parashat Mishpatim, the sixth Torah portion in the book of Shemot, Exodus, beginning in chapter 21. In last week's Torah portion of Yitro, we learned about the spectacular event of Ma'amad Har Sinai, the soaring spiritual experience of the giving of the Torah at Mount Sinai. All of Israel ascended to the highest level of prophecy and perceived that Hashem is one, and He is the sum total of reality. It was the most dramatic, uplifting, mind-bending, and powerful event in history, orchestrated by the voice of Hashem Himself, the sound of the shofar, the thunder and lightning, the mountain, fire and smoke, and all of this transcending the limitations of the physical senses. The whole world was shaking as the children of Israel received the Torah. All of nature was suspended as God's voice was heard. So, what happens now? What's the follow-up? This week, as Parashat Mishpatim opens, we're still standing at Mount Sinai. We haven't yet recovered from hearing God's voice. We haven't yet processed. What could possibly follow this revelation? Some sort of totally transcendental spiritual form of worship? No. As our Parasha opens, we are clearly down to earth. The new level of knowledge acquired at Sinai brought responsibility. Mishpatim means ordinances, and our portion opens as we are still standing at Sinai with the words, "And these are the ordinances that you shall place before them." The connecting letter Vav is used, and these, because these laws are a direct continuation of the Ten Commandments, and the entire Torah was revealed and given at Sinai. The portion of Mishpatim features many commandments, 53 in all, 23 positive and 30 negative. All of these laws need to be studied in great detail to understand their nature and their application. They squarely, directly address the human condition, both in its many splendored as well as its squalid moments. They form the foundation of the bedrock of society, laws that focus on personal and communal responsibility, laws that pertain to righting wrongs committed against others, laws that pertain to people and their possessions, what happens when someone's property damages someone else on purpose or inadvertently, or a situation wherein a person's behavior has unfairly caused someone else to suffer loss or harm, perhaps even accidental death. Monetary laws, stealing and how to set things right, the judicial process. These laws are all designed by Hashem to foster a healthy society, taking place not in heaven, from where the laws originate, but here on earth. The ordinances of Parashat Mishpatim are what ground the Sinai experience into this world, into this earth, and our ability to fulfill them is the real proof of who we are. Did you hear His voice, or didn't you? And if you did, what are you going to do about it? Because life is not going to be the same for you. Ironically, some people have a problem with the Torah's attention to detail, belittling adherence to Torah law as being stuck in something illegal, as if there's something wrong about wanting to follow God's instructions for us. And some criticize all the detail involved in living a life of commitment to the mitzvot, the commandments, as somehow being a letdown from a truly spiritual experience, as being bogged down with legalese, with details. Indeed, some people say, God doesn't care about such details. But obviously He does, since here it is. And the truly sensitive human being, who could be called religious, is a person who knows how and is willing to translate his love of God and commitment to divine principles into practical application in this world, as in how we treat others. That's a true religious experience. But show me someone who knows how to live it. Because if a person can't translate love for God into the practical application as love for man, maybe he loves himself, imagining that he loves God, but he doesn't love God, or man for that matter. Open up your heart, because this is the Torah's intention. How else can we prove that our humanity can be instilled with godliness, other than by our behavior reflecting God's presence in every aspect of our lives, in a very human world? A person can pretend to be spiritual, or can really meditate, or contemplate, or be abstinent, or have an astral projection, whatever. But the Torah isn't about acting, it's about making it real. How one behaves is the true measure of a person. The Parsha opens with these words, "And these are the ordinances that you shall set before them. Should you buy a Hebrew slave, a Hebrew servant, he shall work for 6 years, and in the 7th year he shall go out to freedom without charge." The first of these mishpatim, these laws, is the law of the Eved Ivri, the Hebrew servant. This is a dejected individual who works for another, a master, for 6 years and goes free in the 7th. He's sold into service not as punishment, but as a recompense for stealing, or perhaps to escape from extreme financial hardship. And according to Torah law, this individual is to be treated by his master with respect, mercy, and kindness. The master must provide for his servant and his entire family for the duration of his service. The Talmud clarifies that he must care for his servant even more than the care he affords himself. For example, if the master has only one pillow, he must give it to his servant. If a master has only one bed, he must give it to his servant, and he himself must sleep on the floor. Many of our holy sages ponder the question of why Parashat Mishpatim begins with the ordinance of the Eved Ivri, the Hebrew servant. And there are many beautiful and compelling interpretations. But open up your heart in the deepest way, because on the most basic level, it all goes back to Adam, the world's first thief, who took what he was commanded not to take. And we're all trying to fix that. So this Parsha, the first practical application of Torah in this world after it was revealed at Mount Sinai, starts with an individual being sold as a servant, just like Adam Harishon, Adam, the first man, starting off in this world. At the Sinai revelation, the entire nation heard Hashem's declaration of his presence, Anochi, I am, which anchored the love of Hashem deeply within the heart of every Jew. They knew then so clearly that there was nothing else, and that on the deepest inner level, they would never have any desire for anything else. That utterance today continues to echo from Sinai and has never ceased to reverberate throughout the world every day. But how do we hear it? How do Hashem's 10 utterances, the 10 commandments, take form and shape in this world? The lesson of the Parsha, Mishpatim, is that everything, every situation, every relationship, every transaction, every opportunity, like the situations described taking place between people in Parashat Mishpatim, this stuff of life, it's all a manifestation of Hashem's infinite light filtering down into this world, into vessels. Everything is like a garment, like a vessel for the light that is hidden. And the first mishpat, the first ordinance of the Hebrew servant, cloaks the light in the first of the 10 commandments. I am Hashem your God who took you out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage. This ordinance beckons to both the servant and his master that they are being presented with an opportunity to fix themselves. When a person steals, what's the root of his sin? He forgets temporarily that he's standing face to face opposite Hashem, and it's Hashem who provides for him and who gives him everything. Instead of acknowledging him and thanking him for all the good, he tries to strong arm, to grab from the back door, thinking no one is looking. He thinks that if he doesn't grab for himself, he won't have from what to live. Therefore, his tikkun, his fixing, is to be sold in his stealing into service. But this is not a punishment. It's the chance Hashem is giving him to internalize the magnitude of his relationship with God, his true master, because he acted as if he didn't believe that he could receive his needs directly from Hashem himself. So now, as his tikkun, he has to be under a master, and the master will receive on his behalf. But from this experience, he will understand his failing and how to fix it. These 6 years of service to a master become a workshop. And all of our lives are workshops. Every changing, fluid human situation that involves our interaction with others and in every aspect of our lives, like those that are described in Parashat Mishpatim, it's all a manifestation of Hashem's announcement of Anochi, I am, being filtered through the vessels of our everyday lives. Our Parsha begins with the connecting Vav, Ve'ele HaMishpatim, and these are the ordinances, which teaches us, as Rashi cites, that these laws are a continuation of the 10 Commandments, that everything here was said by God at Mount Sinai. But just when were these laws given over by Hashem? The Midrash makes an exceedingly enigmatic statement. Open up your heart in the deepest way. Our sages state that the Diburim, the 10 statements or commandments, were given during the morning, and the Mishpatim, the ordinances, were said at night. This is very deep. What is the intention of this ancient and enigmatic teaching that the 10 commandments are an aspect of morning and the ordinances of Mishpatim are an aspect of night? What does it really signify? each one of us experiences day and night. When the nation of Israel stood at the Sinai revelation and heard Hashem utter the first of the 10 commandments, Anochi, I am Hashem your God, they understood in the deepest way that everything in this world, all of creation, is a manifestation of Hashem's will. It became so clear that all of reality is only Hashem, that everything that happens in all of creation is only a garb for Hashem's will, and, listen carefully, even the difficult and challenging situations that sometimes manifest the human condition, like what we are learning about in Parashat Mishpatim, rifts and damages and confrontations, the differences between people and claims against each other, the claimant and the litigant, are also manifestations of Hashem's will. So what is the role of these Mishpatim, these ordinances? Hashem's utterances take many forms as they filter down into this physical world. In the example of civil matters, in the light, morning, in the light of realizing that all is Hashem's will, with the clarity of this vision, even the loser of a case should be satisfied to know that this is what Hashem wants, and he knows that it's all good, and God only wants his good, and therefore he should gladly pay up or attend to whatever restitution is required of him according to the judgment. But as human beings, we are who we are. We're not always feeling this connection, seeing it clearly, not always in the light. Sometimes we are high and sometimes low, sometimes up and sometimes down, because the true nature of Hashem's interface with us, with creation, is hidden. But the Mishpatim were given at night, for the times of lack of clarity, when the revelation of light that had been so clear that it's all about Hashem is hidden from us. And when we forget that every situation we confront is all only Hashem, who seeks only our good, when things become unclear. So behold, the laws of Parashat Mishpatim, carrying out Hashem's will in the form of his ordinances, reconnects us to what we already knew. We read, and Moshe wrote the words of Hashem and called them in the ears of the people. And they all said, whatever Hashem says, we will do and we will obey. Hashem's voice, his declaration of Anochi, I am God, is still reverberating, but now concealed, garbed in a garment of all the everyday occurrences of this world, and brought down through everything that makes up our lives. The highest light of Hashem's unity is cloaked in these commandments of Ben Adam lechavero, between man and his fellow man. And in our beloved world of action, Hashem's light translates into the way we behave with each other, even when we are experiencing a spiritual nighttime and we forget that it's all for our good. The Vav comes to add to the original Dibrot. The Dibrot became Mishpatim, dressed now in the mitzvot between man and his fellow. And Hashem told Moshe, this is what you shall place before them. This is the human condition. So the Dibrot, the 10 statements, were given in the morning, and their application, the Mishpatim, the laws of human interaction, at night. Meaning, the Dibrot, the commandments, are things that are matters of the heart. It's Hashem's statement of Anochi, reverberating eternally, and even that voice is planted in our ears and in our hearts, deep also in the heart of all creation, even in times of disconnect or discord or adversity. In every situation, it comes to us through the manifest, all-encompassing will of Hashem to bestow goodness on his creation. And through his Mishpatim, we are given the tools to hear that voice, to accomplish tikkun and shine forth with divine purpose in every aspect of our lives. This helps us to understand the enigmatic vision towards the end of the portion. Concerning the covenant described in chapter 24, we read, Moshe took half the blood and placed it in basins, and half the blood he threw upon the altar. He took the book of the covenants and read it within earshot of the people, and they said, everything that Hashem said, we will do and we will obey. Moshe took the blood and threw it upon the people, and he said, behold the blood of the covenant that Hashem sealed with you concerning all these matters. Moshe, Aaron, Nadav and Avihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel ascended. They saw the God of Israel, and under his feet was the likeness of sapphire brickwork, and it was like the essence of the heavens in purity. Surely, these are among the most difficult of verses to understand. They saw the God of Israel? Under his feet was the likeness of sapphire brickwork? What exactly did they see? Soon, in Parashat Kitisa, we shall learn that Hashem says, chapter 33 and verse 20, no man sees my face and lives. In Deuteronomy chapter 4, verses 12 and 15, we are specifically told that no image or form was seen. But as we have emphasized in our study of this parsha, its beauty lies in the very earthiness of its laws, which sanctify this world with Hashem's presence. Our sages teach that this imagery was really designed by Hashem, tailor-made for their needs within their comfort zone. Because when, just a few months earlier, they were slaves to Pharaoh, they were forced to make bricks, all for the purpose of building up Pharaoh's might. And the message of this vision is that now that they're in the service of Hashem, the true King, their actions, the stuff of their lives, what we've been reading about in this parsha, these will become bricks, as it were, building up Hashem's kingdom on this earth. And by Israel's response of, we will do and we will obey, they made the first brick in the covenant. But they saw the brick was made of sapphire, because everything that we do in this world, all the material, all the earthbound details, become connected to heaven.